It's not about motivation. Winners need discipline. Wake up and win today. Discipline comes from within.
Boxing King Media in association with Boxroad. Right, we'll let you answer that. Is anyone famous?
Excuse me. Hello?
Is anyone famous?
I don't know who it is. Then 1 second.
Let's see who it is.
Hello?
If it's somebody famous.
Hello? Hello? When they hesitate, that means it's a bill collector, so.
I was hoping it was going to be somebody like, I don't know, Roy Jones Jr. or something crazy like that. But, buddy, how you doing? Just got off your flight and straight into interviews.
Yes.
Good man. How was the flight? You've just come all the way from LA. It's a long flight, that.
Yeah, 9.5 hours.
Feeling?
I'm tired right now.
Good man. I ain't got you for long, so let's jump straight into it. You're here for Dan. Obviously, he's done the last week or so on his own. Will that make any difference in this?
Not at all. Not at all. I mean, look, you know, if he's not ready by now, the last week ain't gonna matter.
What did you make of the face-off that they just did, live?
I was eating a hamburger, man, so I was listening, but I wasn't listening, you know what I mean?
Obviously, initially when this fight got made, a lot of people said Buatsi is a big favorite. But as the fight's got closer, I get the feeling that more people are saying this is a closer fight than they think. So you kind of break it down for us, like, if you was a neutral in this, how would you give it in a percentage way?
50-50 if I was neutral, but I know that Dan's going to pull this off.
What makes you so confident?
Just a funny feeling.
What does that funny feeling feel like?
Well, it's like this. The last time they sparred, the first 2 times they sparred, Buatsi got the best of Dan. I'm not going to lie. But the next time they sparred after that, it was a different ball game.
What was that, in the States or was that here in the UK?
It was right here in the UK. It was in London here.
I'm assuming you was there ringside watching it.
Yes, and it was the third time they sparred was totally different.
What do you make of the two journeys? They both had different journeys. Obviously, I don't know if you can compare it to fighters in the US where you've got an Olympian who goes through a different route and you got a guy that's got probably the harder route, fighting all the domestic challenges. Do you think that makes a difference in this type of fight?
It could make a difference, you know what I mean? Because, when you got an Olympian, they work hard. But when you got that guy that has to freaking fight for $200-300, you know what I mean, to try to get to where he's at now, is a totally different ball game.
So now, quickly, Hala, I was just talking to you off camera about you as a fighter. I think a lot of new age boxing fans, a lot of the guys in the early 20s probably don't know how good you was as a fighter and the people that you fought. And I urge anyone to check your box rate because it's fascinating. Because I spoke to Antonio Tarver recently. He could have named anyone in history, but he told me that you was one of his favorite fighters growing up.
Well, thank you. Well, thank you, Antonio. I appreciate it, my brother. Love and respect, you know that. I mean, listen, Antonio, I had the pleasure of training him, you know what I mean? And people ask me who's my best fighters I ever had. And I tell them all, Antonio Tarver and Vernon Forrest.
Well, he gave me an interesting answer because I asked him a tricky question. I said to him, when he fought Roy Jones, at that time, Roy was like a killer. Nobody wanted to fight him and, he was a devastating puncher. I just asked him if he had any fear or any, what kind of thoughts he had going into that fight. And he went mental. He goes, you need to ask Roy that because I was I was an amateur standout. I was the guy that was undefeated and he just went nuts.
Listen, I knew he can beat Roy. But the icing on the cake for me, when I knew he's definitely a win, is when he told me he beat Roy in the basketball game. That said, I got the better athlete also.
Interesting that. And just last thing I want to speak to you about, obviously Callum Smith, it's been a week or so and Callum's done a few interviews and he's obviously confirmed he doesn't want to retire, he wants to carry on. You as his coach, is he making the right decision?
Yes, I mean, listen, I'd rather him get out of his system now than wait a couple of years and try to come back. So get it all out of it, because I know that once he decides that's it, I know that's it. You know what I mean? So if that fire is still burning inside, then I support him 1,000%.
Pre-fight, a lot of people, obviously mainly from Callum's side, were saying Callum's going to stop BETERBIEV. He's got him at the right time. Obviously, now that the fight's happened, obviously there's been that issue with the test. Where do you kind of stand with it all now? Because obviously there's been a lot of criticism towards Callum as well, and his brothers for bringing it up after the fight.
This is my thing. I don't know, how can I put it? Tests don't lie. Whatever test that he took and he failed, it don't lie.
It wasn't a failure though, was it? Like it was atypical. That's the wording I was looking for.
Okay, meaning
That he had heightened levels of human growth hormones, which I believe, from what I've been told, is like a natural in your body. If you're a certain type of athlete at certain times, if you're tested, that can be heightened.
right. Well, I don't know. I can't answer that question.
Does anyone beat ARTUR BETERBIEV from the in ringside experience you've had with him? Does anyone beat him?
Bivol can out. You know they say styles make fights, and I think Bivol has the style to beat him.
Can he do it for 12 rounds?
That's the key. He's got to keep him. He's got to be able to keep him frustrated for 12 rounds.
You've seen his power close up. Is he capable of doing it?
Yeah,
Will he do it?
yeah. I think Bivol will. Yeah.
Buddy, appreciate your time. I think it's bedtime for you. Thank you, brother. I'll catch you soon.
All right, baby. Take care. Thank you. All right.
Listen, I got a question for you. Where can discipline take you? Discipline points you toward your goals.